a quick word about spells and curses, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about disclosure, ET, alien, UFO disclosure. So the thing about casting curses are black magic, and black magic is nothing to be taken lightly. You may cause some short-term harm or damage, or have, some kind of a temporary effect on the subject of the curse. But the thing about black magic and curses is, in the long run, the caster or the sender of the curse, whatever form that curse might take, is the one who is damaged the most, and sometimes in very serious ways. And so it's just food for thought. So, all right, so this disclosure thing, this is like something that, my whole life I've always been fascinated by UFOs and aliens and that kind of stuff. And, my whole life I've just been waiting for disclosure. And, we've pretty much in the last decade or so, we've been in the midst of a soft disclosure, with all the information that's come out. And, the government has all but admitted that, this is the case, and that, aliens are a thing, UFOs, entities of some type, from another planet, from another dimension, another universe, whatever it ends up being. It's a thing. We live in a vast universe, and it's complicated and it's multi-dimensional. And so it's naive to assume that we're the only living species occupying this universe. And the universe itself, if you buy into this concept that, the first Hermetic principle of mentalism, that all is mind and mind is energy and everything is energy and everything is an emanation of God, the prime creator, the Most High. All of reality is an emanation of that. And so everything is imbued with life force. Everything is imbued with energy. So everything is essentially alive. And so there's to assume that you are the only sort of conscious entity roaming about in this multidimensional, infinite thing. Reality is, I just think it's naive. And so, there's been there's been a massive cover-up, and so there's one of the reasons what prompted this is that there's a UFO whistleblower, Gersh. His name's Gersh, a military man. It's a story. It's, who knows, this could be like, what leads to some, more disclosure in the coming weeks, months, whatever it ends up being. And, we'll see, we'll kind of see what happens, how this story develops. But, it's a thing. It's real. And, I've seen plenty of things. I've been a sky watcher my whole life, and I've seen some things. I've never encountered any kind of an entity, extraterrestrial alien entity that I know of anyway, but I've definitely seen some things in the sky that are peculiar, interesting. I saw a straight up fucking ship one time. It was in low orbit. It was fascinating. It was a really cloudy day, and the ship was white, and kind of you could say, and people were, that was just a blimp. It was just a blimp. I was like, no, I know what a blimp looks like. This was not a blimp. It was like a white egg shaped, but it kind of looked like it was like a volleyball, kind of like a volleyball in the shape of an egg, kind of a thing. And it was like in low orbit, and it was like a really white, puffy, cloudy kind of day. So it was kind of hard to see it, but I remember watching it. I tracked it. And was it alien? I don't know. It could have been experimental aircraft. But I just remember watching it and just like, holy shit, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. Huge, big. this is like, anyway, so I've seen stuff like, and then, all sorts of bizarre, lights in the sky, and lights like falling, things that looked like stars, falling straight down, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just cool stuff, Anyway, so yeah, so it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. But I think what's important, because this is a very convoluted kind of an issue, the whole ET, alien, UFO thing, because there's a lot of diversions, there's a lot of distractions around it. This is a psyop culture. We live in a psyop culture. There's just so much fucking misinformation. There's just so much manipulation, mind control that goes on. We live in a time where, there has never been this much mind control in our world as there is now. We just, and it's, if you kind of go down that rabbit hole, it's really fascinating. There's a lot there. There's a lot of information, there, but you have to be discerning, of course. And that's, it can be very frustrating. It can be very difficult, to research these kinds of things because there is so much misinformation out there. But, You just have to be patient and, stay grounded in this kind of stuff and be discerning, about what you, and don't take everything at face value. That's why this has become such a, convoluted issue. But it's real. I mean, we definitely, we are not alone. We are definitely not alone. And so, as more and more of this stuff comes out, I think in our lifetimes, we're probably going to see a lot of pretty interesting stuff happen with regards to the whole alien agenda. And not all of it is going to be true. And not all of it is going to be positive. And so it's going to be, I think it's important for all of us we're all going to have to stay grounded, and we're all going to have to be very discerning, and we're all going to have to be very patient with all of this as it unfolds over the next decades and potentially centuries. As we learn more, we understand more. And I think it's important to understand is that a lot of people look to Jesus to save them. A lot of people are looking to aliens to save humanity, and it's just, that's not going to happen. We have to save ourselves. They can't, they're not going to, most likely, they're not going to intercede, at least in that kind of way. They might intercede in other ways, but, they're definitely not going to come here and, give us all these technologies that are going to heal us and save us and, teach us things that are, and the knowledge is already out there. I mean, it's just that most people aren't applying it in their daily lives, and most people are too distracted. Most people are too, focused on negative things, too sort of immersed in negative shit to sort of see that, there is just, the information has been delivered, the knowledge, the wisdom has been delivered, and it's on all of us as individuals to put it into practice into our daily lives. And it's hard to do. It's a difficult kind of a thing, and it's easy to just be distracted and follow distractions and follow escapist kind of stuff instead of focusing on personal and, spiritual development and growth. And so anyway, back to the whole thing, the whole disclosure thing, I think, again, it's going to be interesting, to watch this kind of stuff unfold and just everybody, stay grounded, be discerning, and if you're not sure you are a discerning person, develop your discernment. It's a skill. It's a skill that you can develop, and, it's a lot of it has to do with your intuition, learn to develop and trust your intuition. And, the more you sort of lean on your intuition, the more you trust it, the more it grows, the more you become in control of it. And instead of being at the whim of, all this mind control that goes on in our world today. It is crazy off the charts. Crazy off the charts. The level of mind control and manipulation that is employed, it's everywhere. I mean, it is everywhere. I mean, just, your average person is just constantly, trying to use, some kind of manipulation or whatever to get what they want or, avoid responsibility for something or, whatever it is. So it's a thing, man. We all see it, Anyway, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to watch all this stuff, as disclosure continues to unfold, and it sort of, becomes more and more and more. It becomes sort of heightened, and one of these days, and hopefully in my lifetime, we'll actually, see, they'll just show up, and allegedly a lot of them are among us anyway. We'll see. We'll see. Again, how this all develops, but there's a lot of risk involved with this, because a lot of people deify aliens, and so that's not a good thing. We don't want to they're just highly advanced cultures. We cannot deify any of these species. We have to grow, humanity, and that's what's going on here. That's kind of like we're on the verge of like humanity's got to like step up and step out of its shadow, own its shadow, and grow spiritually, or we're gonna fall back. And so we are, that's sort of the choice that we have right now collectively. It's like, are we gonna grow up spiritually, or are we just gonna continue on the same the wheel of karma that we've, collectively have been on for a very long time? And I choose, I'm doing my part as an individual to make this happen, that we actually, break out of this and that we start actually moving up what Dune calls the golden path. The golden path is a future of surprises, basically. It's like, to break the wheel of karma and to create a new, unexpected future for ourselves, full of new things, right? Instead of the same old stuff over and over and over and over again. We've all been doing it. We've all been stuck in these karmic cycles, just repeating the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. It's just, I don't want to do this anymore. personally, so I'm doing my part to individually break my karmic wheel because I'd like to move on. And this is part of this journey, as this is part of the sort of leveling up process of the collective, is this awareness now, we're sort of, ready, if you will, to encounter, to interact with alien cultures, and to start thinking in a more multi-dimensional way, to break out of the sort of 2 and 3-dimensional thinking that most of us are stuck in, and to, become of a higher consciousness, a higher awareness. So it's going to be interesting. The point is that this is going to be really interesting stuff. So I'm excited, but I'm also very grounded, with all this kind of stuff, because I just, about 10 years ago, I just, when I was going through this thing, about 10 years ago or so, and disclosure was a buzz, and I was just like, when it happens, it happens. I'm just not gonna be too, I'm not going to have any expectations about the outcomes with any of this kind of stuff. It'll unfold the way it unfolds. And so, I think that to me, that's just a really good way to sort of approach everything, to remove your expectations for outcomes. Anyway, yeah, this is interesting to me, and this kind of stuff fascinates me. So that's why I talk about it. So I'm sure, I'm guessing most of you don't really give a fuck, and you're just here to fuck with me. So good luck with that.